everyone, and welcome back to the Ladies of Selling LA Luxury podcast. I am your host, Angel.
I am your other host, Anne-Marie.
And today we are going to talk about the boring basics of becoming a real estate agent. It's really good for even if you're just an entrepreneur. They're the most important topics that no one wants to talk about because people usually just want to dive right in.
It's actually boring for most people, but
it's not boring for her, but it's boring. So I'll get started.
Okay.
So before we jump into the steps and tips, I want to just say one of the first things if you want to become an entrepreneur, whether it's real estate or a different adventure, is you should really have a savings cushion. So especially in real estate,
yes,
you have no idea what will happen when you'll have your first transaction closed. Even if you join a team and they give out leads and ready to go clients, inventory could be low. They couldn't find something for months. You could be in escrow that's hell and then they have to cancel.
But I also want to throw in there, whatever company you're with, there's also startup, right? So not only having the cushion, but you need to be ready for the startup costs.
Correct.
So depending on what brokerage you go with, business cards, E&O, setting up on your MLS, NAR, National Association of Realtors, California Association of Realtors, because we're obviously here in California.
So I would say on average for where we're at in LA, minus, this is after you get your license, which that costs money too, taking your test, doing your classes. But on average, I would say we probably pay almost $2,000 a year.
Yeah.
Between MLS, super fees, different fees and associations.
Yeah.
So you need to not have that and also be able to pay your expenses if you have expenses to pay. If you live at home with your parents or with someone else that's covering the cost, now is the perfect time to do it. Like my kids, I would love for them to stay home as long as they can. So that way if they make mistakes and fail with finances, they have a cushion. So don't be so quick to move out if you have that, cushion. Where I'm from, if you live at home with your mom, it's ill. In Cleveland, where I'm from. But here in LA, I'm you're fucking smart. What do you mean? Stay home. Build your business. Don't take on those extra expenses.
Being the mom as a 20-year-old and an 18-year-old, we just went through those teenage years. You haven't gone there yet.
My kids won't do that.
I said that too.
Yeah.
So we want to push them out, but honestly, I would take my kids. I would love for them to be home with me. I will love on them and provide for them as long as I can. So
that's the American way that you want to push them out. Armenians stay home until they're 30 and married. Yeah. My kids are Armenian.
Filipinos too.
They're not doing that, but we need to find a healthy boundary in the middle.
So
that was the first one is savings cushion and be able to cover your expenses of getting started.
Right.
There's more expenses that come with this, which you're going to talk about.
There's way more. So one of the most important things is, one, you need to treat it like a business, right? You are literally going into business for yourself. So you want to have a business account. And to get a business account, one of the things that you have to do is come up with an EIN number. So those take expenses too, but you need to treat this as a business. So you're going to get an EIN number, you're going to start a business account, and then...
Well, first, you have to file an S Corp.
Right. So
an LLC,
S Corp,
C Corp, S Corp.
Depending. Talk to your advisor.
Talk to your
financial advisor.
But typically an S Corp is where you can make the most savings, but sometimes it doesn't make sense until you reach a certain amount of money, but it costs money
to file
if you want to make sure you file it the right way. The EIN is free. The business bank account, typically you can get them to waive any balances.
Depending, on the
but filing, I think I paid $800 to file ours.
Yeah, it's typically $800 in California. So that's your next step is getting the EIN, getting the business bank, and getting a business account. Completely different from a savings account.
Or a personal account. Can I just say, if you are like every other person, including me, when I was a hobby agent, when I first got my license and I wasn't really doing this like a business, running everything like a business, do not put your checks in a personal account. If you are already putting your checks in a personal account, you have failed. You are not an entrepreneur in any way, shape, or form. It's literally just the next thing's gonna come out, and the next thing's gonna come out, the next thing's gonna come out, and then all of a sudden you're gonna be like, oh shit, when am I going to have the next transaction closed? And nothing becomes like a structure, you know?
Yeah. And you don't have that mindset, a lot of this has to do with like a debit card versus cash, right? The debit card, you don't really see your balance all the time, but when you have cash of $100 and you're spending it, you spend 20, you spend 50, you spend 70, you physically know how much you have left. So by putting it in a personal account, the mindset is it's personal. I'm going to go shopping.
Yeah.
I'm on Amazon. Whatever your, thing might be.
Target. Target,
Target.
but I call it Target because it's that expensive. So like,
Well, it's expensive for you.
yeah, every time I enter, it's like a $400 cost at minimum. Even if I just go for toilet paper.
That's like Costco. You can't get out of Costco for less than $200. Like,
So
seriously.
don't put it in your personal account.
Mm-mm.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Most important thing, business account.
And I also feel like that comes with the mentality of just that part of setting up is
I'm a business person.
you take yourself more seriously.
100%.
Yeah.
I agree.
So our next tip is check with your association, your DRE, wherever you are in the nation, whatever guidelines that they have to establish your company or team name. So one of the things that I absolutely hated.
What? It's an amazing name.
I hated, like,
Past tense. She loves it now.
I still hate it that we have to have as a guideline here in California, if you have a team name, there has to be a surname attached. So if you have followed my journey, then you know that I had a traumatic childhood and past. I hate the last name Collins. And I didn't get married before we started. I'm still not married.
No.
But I was hoping to be married before I started establishing a business brand.
That would have been that I can't even spell.
Vartanian. It's so sexy.
I'm so glad.
But the thing about it is like, I hate the last name Collins, but I will say in my spiritual healing journey, the good thing about it is I feel like I'm creating a new legacy for that last name that's not attached to what I had.
Love it.
But make sure you check because you can't just go out there and say I'm ABC Banana Street Real Estate Company.
Right.
If there's guidelines, because you'll be in violation and then you will have spent all this money on branding, logos and signatures.
Luckily,
and
we didn't, though. Luckily, we didn't. I mean, we made a lot of mistakes. If you listen to that other podcast of ours, we've made a lot of mistakes. But that's one of the ones we did not make.
We were very good about that.
Yeah, we looked it up front. We called our office manager. I think we even called our broker. We called DRE. We called CAR.
The legal
we
hotline.
called everybody.
Yeah.
Like, what can we do? So that's one of the mistakes we did not make.
When in doubt, call the legal hotline to figure out what you can and cannot do. That's so important. But do not just be like, oh my God, there's this name. I love it. I looked it up. There's no other company named this. I can run with it. You might not be able to. And you'll be very disappointed if you don't do that.
I'm good with Ahern and Collins.
Yeah, because you want to be Ahern forever.
I do.
I don't. I don't want to be a Collins forever. I can't even say it right. It's Collins, and I say it like an A. Collins, like
it's Collins. Do I have to pronounce your name for you? Collins.
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 Well, okay. Don't even get started on Ahern.
Yeah, I always say
Ahern or Ahern.
It's like an acorn.
It's not. We're not an acorn. We're an Ahern.
But you get my point. I don't even like my last name. Sorry. But I'm going to start learning to love it. But make sure that you check the guidelines. And so our final, most important tip, I'd say, right?
Yeah. Well, you have to do the first couple tips to do this tip. But if you do the first couple
and you don't do this, you're going to fail.
You're going to fail.
So it's taking every paycheck because we know we get really big ones. I always say that this is no secret. I know some realtors like to hide it, but like, come on, we all know. And making sure that you separate the money and you allocate for things. So do you want to start talking about breaking it up?
Yeah. So I'm super visual. So
we can pop it up somewhere maybe.
Hopefully you get the check. The first 35% is going to go to taxes. So I said that like Texas. No, taxes. Uncle Sam's coming for you.
We're not giving any money to Texas.
Although we were in Dallas recently, but that's another story. So 35% is going to go to taxes, Uncle Sam. So
a separate account.
So
you should have
take
a tax
that
account.
money and put it in a separate account. the way we do it is we have the checking account and then we have the savings account, and that's where it's going. It's sitting in the savings account.
But I know you're probably like 35% you're freaking out. You might not have to pay that. I hope that you don't pay that and you have a really good CPA or tax accountant. But you don't want to owe the IRS money at the end of the year because it is not fun and you will not be happy about it.
No. So what do we do with the other money?
So then 20 to 30% should go towards running your business.
Mm-hmm.
So there's all of the things that you have to do to run your business. There's marketing.
Don't even start. That's a whole other episode, all the things that you have. But so 20 to 30 will go to
running your business. Yeah. Right. So whether you have payroll, whatever it is that you have to do. And then
the rest goes to your personal account. But in that personal account, you have to account for all of your expenses. So Angel and I are kind of at different places right now. Like my kids are a little bit older. They were both in private school for a while. Now I'm going to have 2 kids in college. So I need to set aside those expenses for my mortgage, my expenses at home, my kids still, expenses. So part of that money in your personal account is going to go to that. Now, I have learned as I'm trying to find balance, I also need to have a tiny bit of that for like me.
Yeah, it's so important.
To splurge on myself, which I usually don't do.
It is so important. And one of the things that you could do, if like I said before, you live at home with your parents or you have a roommate, you're not paying much expenses, you can say, that's me, I have an amazing roommate.
I was going to say, I know exactly what you're going to say, and I'm like, listen to this.
Yeah, then I would say, X&A and all of that, take a very small amount to have fun with. The rest of it, put it aside, put it into investments, investment portfolios, properties, passive income.
Yep.
So that way, that 20 to 30% that you're using to run your business, the other investments are able to pay that in case something goes wrong.
And one of the things that we say is you can start in real estate for as little as $15,000 down. So if you're starting today, you're starting at the beginning of the year, getting that every little bit. Once you get that $15,000, you can start investing in real estate. If you're in a situation like we are, where we both have children, you start building that generational wealth.
You just want to make sure if you're able to, and I know it's a privilege and not everyone can do it, but if you're able to from the very beginning, make the money work for you. That is the goal. And so I think that was, is there anything else? Boring basics? I know these are boring.
They're boring.
For me.
I like it. I like the numbers. It's exciting for me. But no, I think we covered it all. But if not, call me.
But I'll honestly say, before you even call her, if you just do those few tips that we gave you, you are already better than 80% of the real estate agents out there. I'm just going to be honest with you, because most of them do not run themselves like a business. So 2 claps if you've done those things, because you're already ahead of the game. And then you already know the drill. Comment, like, subscribe, DM, call Anne-Marie. We'd love to hear from you. And thank you so much for being a part of this episode and tuning in with us. Let us know what you'd like to hear next. And until next time, beautiful humans, namaste.